Aries, Ashe. Obatula, Ashe. Nila Hotep, Ashe. Anu, Ashe. Ptah, Ashe. Apollo, Ashe. Da, Ashe. Zaka, Ashe. Shango, Ashe. Makali, Ashe.
Somewhere.
Yeah, I'll find it.
Y'all alright?
Oh yeah.
Am I boring you?
Hey, by the way, what's the name of this topic? You got a topic for this?
It's called, what's the name of this topic?
Sekhmet. Something about Sekhmet.
It's called Sekhmet and something, because we're still in the Rio, in the height of the summer, the African New Year, and the god is Sekhmet.
Okay, once again, repeat it again.
It's called Sekhmet. We'll get the name of it in a few minutes. Somebody got a flyer.
Okay, I need to put it on camera.
We'll get it in a few minutes. Just somebody give me a magic marker. You know. Okay, let's get into some other science. Let's see. Got a lot of stuff. Let me get my book. It's amazing. There ain't never enough time, but we're gonna push this until they throw us out.
All right.
And stuff like that. Until, or at least till you get tired and go home. Now that's a good, that's some money for your ass. You come to see a speaker, and so you can't stand it no more. You know what I'm saying? That's a bang for your buck. Because most of them come and give you 2 or 3 syllables of some inspiration, charge up some money, and get the hell on. You see what I'm saying? And get the hell on. So I'm the hardest working man, you see what I'm saying?
That's right.
In the Negro business. Let me get, I got my, hold on, I gotta get my, I got a notebook somewhere. You know, I ain't organized. And I'm not used to it, because the last girlfriend I had was 10 years younger than me. She was 20. And I fought again. You too young. The spirit knocked me in the head to put her with me because I had a work to do and I didn't need the responsibilities of some other things. I need somebody that can roll with me on that young level. So now the sister I'm with now, I'm not used to drinking out of glass and then come back and the damn glass done disappeared. And I go in the kitchen, the shit is washing in the cabinet. I'm like, damn, I ain't used to this shit right here. Because the other girl was 20. We used to roll out the bed and shit. It might get made up once a month. Because I didn't make a shit down. You know, she was 20. And, you know, we upper mobile people. I come from a well-to-do family. Which means, and shit, you know, we the worst ones are disciplined. Because we always in rebellion. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. And stuff. So we the worst one. And she came from upper mobile too. And so shoot, and she was a damn teenager too. Well, right out of teenage, she was 20. Shoot, man, that glass might stay down there till the mall. You know, so I'm the sister is organized and shit like a motherfucker. You know, coach, you can't never find nothing. And she one of them throwaway types. Where they see that? Oh, I threw it away. You know, there be some raggedy stuff that you know a man I hang on to. I didn't know that a man's clean was different than a woman's clean. So I cleaned up the house to bring. I said, yeah, I got the shit spick and span. And she got up the next morning after getting out the plane and started cleaning up and cleaned up for 2 damn weeks. Like, what the hell? You know, I would clean up, but we might sweep around something. They're gonna move the shit out of the way. So, you know, so it's amazing how this thing goes. It's a spirit thing, though. We 2 different species. But what happens with this here, and this is the problem, what happens in relationships. Your mate is supposed to be, let me see if I read that book in. Your mate is supposed to be, here it is right here. Your mate is supposed to be your mother, and you are supposed to be the father. So you have a biological mother and father that you get reared. And when you get a certain age, your mate is supposed to be your mother, and you're supposed to be her father. It's not the same thing as a man looking for a mother, somebody pampering him. But what it is you're supposed to be that bridge, you see what I'm saying, to substitute that which you no longer have when you was a child. You get where I'm coming from here spiritually?
Right.
You see, so you're supposed to look out on that particular level. You see what I'm saying? So, so I'm just not used to this shit, But it's all good. All right. The great mysteries here is, in the Egyptian Book of the Dead, you have what is called the Egyptian negative confessions. The negative confessions are the 47 laws, 147 laws of Ma'at. How many there is? The great mystery in the book, coming from the book of Coming Forth by Day, and because the 10 of those commandments came from the book of the negative confessions of the Book of the Dead, when we look at those things, there's a great mystery here. And the great mystery is this. When they used to recite the negative confessions, I have not done this, I have not gone into man, I have not done this, and I have not done that. If there's 100 and something laws that you haven't done, guess what? You ain't living. It's impossible for you to be in a human body and not do everything that the book says you don't do. So in that case, if they talk about moralism, you finish. Because there's no way you just will stay in Christianity where you're damned from the beginning. You finish before you get started. You're born in sin, which is being born in skin. Sin and skin, it's a relationship with the two. We'll go into that in a few minutes. But the negative confessions of the laws of Ma'at, when you recite these, if there's 147 of them, how many is it? 142? No, there's the 47, huh? It's 47 negative confessions, but there's over 147. So if you was not to do all what the list say that you not do, you're not living, because it's impossible to be in a human body and not do that. You see what I'm saying? And that's the difference between religion and the ancient Egyptians. So if they weren't talking about religion and moralism, then how can this be relevant to have this negative confession say you can't do nothing? The great mystery here is this. Is they were not talking about what your physical body did not do. Y'all all right? Yeah. They weren't talking about what your physical body did not do. The great mystery here is your soul on the inside of you is in another dimension, and it is your true self. Remember when I first said that you believe that you are your bodies? And yes, you have had thousands of bodies in incarnation. And incarnation and incarnation. So if you've had thousands of bodies, how can your one body in a frame? They say your life is like a frame in a film strip. With thousands of frames, you had that many lives. Some of you been here since the beginning. And most of you conscious right now, all of y'all have been here since the beginning. Otherwise, you wouldn't be conscious now. You're the oldest souls on the planet. Now, if it's not talking about your physical life, then what is it talking about? The negative confessions is a confession of the soul. The soul says, yes, my physical body might have been an asshole, might have been fucked up, might have been a mass murderer. But my soul is another dimension, and most of our souls are asleep, and the physical body being an illusion. When you hit a negative confession, I have not done this, I have not done that, I have not done this, it's a reciting of the soul in the underworld. And it has nothing to do with the physical body and what you did not do physical, because this is an illusion. In the Hermetic text, when the god Tahuti is talking to Tat, he says this is all an illusion. He said that which is permanent would never disintegrate or disappear. Everything down here is in a process of disintegration. The atoms are burning up. You don't even look the same as you did when you was 10. You don't look the same as you did when you was 20. That's because the atoms are burning up. Everything, you get rust on metal. That's because everything down here is burning up, because this is called the burning hail of a burning hell. Hell means the physical existence. The place that they tell you that you're scared of going, that's where you need to go. That's where you're supposed to go. And get burned up by hell's fire. Hell's fire is the kundalini energy on the inside of you. That is being baptized in hell's fire. That's where you're supposed to go. They have turned everything backwards. Y'all all right? Listen. They said everything down here is in a state of flux, which means it can't be real. It's a series of illusions. So Tahuti or Hermes, Tahuti, they say, but the initiate talks say, but Tahuti, is not the woman real? Is not the man real? Is not the baby real? They said, no, there are illusions. There are mere appearances of something that is real. The only thing is real is their souls. What's that, sister? Oh yeah, I know, in my key, because I got that kind of voice. And I don't know why I did that. I just like to play around that way, because I used to speak in auditorium with the same voice. Because I have an overdeveloped throat chakra, which means I can be very loud. Okay, I hear you. You know, I just got a little hip-hoppity, a little... That's
all right.
Shit, you know,
That's all right.
I can't sing, so I figured I could at least get over the shit. You know, some kind of stuff like that. But anyway, they say they are mere appearances. So the negative confession is not talking about moralism. They're in the underworld. This is after you get rid of the physical body. They're saying, is not the baby real? Is not the man real? Is not the woman real? They said, no, they are mere appearances of real. Your soul is the only thing that's real, and it outlasts the physical body. So therefore, when they were talking about, I have not done this, and I have not done that, I have not done this, they weren't talking about, you don't do these things, because that means you just got to sit like this for the rest of your life. Because if you don't do nothing down here, everything you do down here, it's impossible to be good all the damn time. You see what I'm saying? They weren't talking about that. Now the Ten Commandments is taken from that, but that's given to people on a moralistic system for control. And it has nothing to do with what with anything with dealing with spirituality. That's why you haven't most people haven't tapped into spirituality. And that's why most Afrocentric conscious people are far from the spirituality, because you become much more conservative and righteous than the people that you call Christians or whatever. You don't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? You don't do nothing. Everything now, even down to your diet, is, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that. You see what I'm saying? Because you're busy trying to live. And the greatest gift there is to die. That's it. The greatest gift to kill life is to damn not wake up. You see what I'm saying? Now, you don't have to worry about that, because if you're on a spiritual path, then that means there got to be a certain amount of people down there to get a certain amount of knowledge. And until your soul has attained what it is, because you're helping other people that's dead, you can't die no way. I had a conscious sister in the 2000 put a gun to her mouth, a 9mm, and pulled the damn trigger. And the bullet got caught up in the damn chamber. Because it wasn't her time to go, because it was a spiritual quest, and they were like, oh, you ain't checking out like that. The spirit realm blocked the shit. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, okay. But anyway, so going back, they're not talking about that when they talk about the negative confessions. You see, on that particular aspect. Now, which is because this is all coming from the Hermetic material. You can get Walter Scott Hermetica is one of the books. You can get another book by Copenhagen Hermetica. These are the books on the Hermetic text. This is the stuff where a lot of the Bible stuff was plagiarized from, especially your Old Testament. A lot of those things, the book of Matthew, the book of Acts, a lot of this stuff was plagiarized from tons and tons of laws of Tahuti in the Hermetic text. One of the Hermetic texts is interesting, because one of the Hermetic texts said, they said, our biggest problem is, this is what the Egyptians say. Now these Egyptians here was talking about the ass whipping they was getting, or they saw some problems coming on in the future of invasions. They said, our biggest problem is we learn how to make another man. We learn how to create another man. That's in the Hermetic text. You see what I'm saying? That we learn how to create another man. Now that's a whole nother lecture. I got 2 lectures, human artificial you could get. I did a whole lecture on that, then turned around and had to do another lecture. I did that one in '93, had to do a whole nother lecture on in 2001 on the human artificial, immigrant human, showing all the text on how this particular person was created. And it was so much material until I had to do 2 tapes on this type of stuff. It was just that much of stuff. But so that's in the Hermetic text. That's in the Hermetic text. We went through a series of falls. What I mean by that is this. You can get a book by Rudolf Steiner called Universe, Earth, and Man, which is a book that when the Moors left Spain, there was a lot of text they left behind, and some of these things became in the company of the Rosicrucians and other mystical orders that was left behind by the Moors. Rudolf Steiner was one of the people who was a recipient of a lot of these texts. And Rudolf Steiner wrote a book called Universe, Earth, and Man. And in that book they talk about how we used to, in one time on earth, the spiritual world was visible. And the physical world was a dim, faint, like a spot. You know how you be in the house and you'll see something run past? That's the spiritual world going on, and every now and then you'll catch a glimpse of it. But that's how the physical world used to be. It was shades and shadows. And as a result, over years, the vibratory rate dropped, and we became more and more indexed into the physical realm. And becoming more and more condensed into the physical realm, the physical realm became visible, and the spiritual realm became invisible. And we got trapped into the physical realm, you see. And so that particular world became invisible. Then so when we first got trapped into the physical realm, we had thousands of senses and different things on the level of a physical God, which means we had 190-something chakras open. And we had clairvoyance, mental telepathy. We could travel to different parts of the earth. We could be in one place at 2 or 3 times. We could dematerialize our body and end up on one part of the earth. We could do all these particular things based on our text. I ain't talking about coming from no fucking apes and eating no twigs and juniper root or whatever. This is what our people said. It was left behind in these texts that became the custodian of Rudolf Steiner. These people got a lot of these particular texts and all, which stuff like that, and all that. So we had chakras, we had all these particular things in our physical bodies. So because I often wonder this thing, why is it, and I talk about this in some of the lectures, especially when I was learning to see it, when I was just in awe of all the stuff you see in ancient Kemet, all those magnificent monuments and temples, and you say, why we don't see that at the rest of Africa? Like we do on, you know what I'm saying, right there in the corner of Africa, in East Africa. Why we don't see that in the West? We don't even see that much in Ethiopia. You see what I'm saying? The key here was, they only built those particular monuments to record what was inside of our mind called detailed files. You ever hear what I'm saying? I have detailed files. So in actuality, what we see on the monuments and all that in Africa and all this particular knowledge was encoded in us. It was a part of our living being. So therefore, and we had these powers like supermen and women, that we didn't need certain things in the physical. You see what I'm saying? So we only became encased or ingrained in the physical, and we only started manifesting this stuff physically because a lot of these sinners and stuff inside of us started shutting down. So it was a race against time. And so we had to record all the stuff on the monuments. We had to record all the stuff on the monuments because we was losing memory. So when you look at the rest of Africa, they were more advanced. Well, all of them was advanced, but so they didn't need the physical structure because the physical structure was only for libraries. So that means that everything we got in technology now, in our true state of Atlantis and Lemuria and all those particular things, those things did exist. See, Dr. Ben and even some of the black African scholars said, we don't say it don't exist, we just don't have enough information on it. They just didn't understand that they was going by the history, and the history is a lie agreed upon, and there's certain limitations in the historical structure of the collegiate level. You see what I'm saying? So the point I'm trying to make here, they say that there is a different human being than the ones that grew up with TV. The ones from the 1950s on back had our own level of consciousness even in their ignorance. You see what I'm saying? Because they could perceive things because certain things were not shut down based on technology. You see what I'm saying? So technology limits your spiritual skills. Like I knew a sister named Atifa down in Atlanta. I met this sister 10 years ago. And she was in her late 50s then, or mid-50s. She was in her mid-50s then. And she used to talk about how everybody used to come to her house to see her when she was a little girl. Because when she was a little girl, she used to cough and disappear. And all the little people used to come. So this was apparently something that was inside of her that we used to dematerialize ourselves and could travel to different parts of the planet. Help has it that when she would call, she would tap into some of those latent chakras or things that have been just dormant in us now. She was able to tap into those particular things. It's no different than they talk about them 90-pound women when the husband trapped under the semi and they go and pick up the whole truck because they tapped into stuff like that. So in so many words, we had that kind of power. You see what I'm saying? That's what Elijah Muhammad used to talk about. They said when we used to rule like the gods. You see, so this was after we got trapped in the physical bodies. We could do that kind of stuff. So in so many words, when we go to other parts of Africa, there's a whole thousands of years of history that's unrecorded because they weren't recording, they was living it, but they were on an advanced level. To other parts of Africa, there's a whole thousands of years of history that's unrecorded because they weren't recording, they was living it, but they were on an advanced level. Like they went to the Dogon mountain climbers. So they had this big ass tall mountain that they was gonna climb. It took them 3 days to climb the mountain. They had to dig their beds in the side of the mountain and sleep on the side of the mountain. And it took them 3 days to climb the side of the mountain. But before they was climbing the mountain, they had these little black women down there, and they had these little round little stuff, I don't know, some kind of plant, like it was a hard looking shell thing, and they would bam and make this millet, and grain this millet of stuff with these hard looking shell like plant like things. And these women was making this grain with it when they were down at the base of the mountain, when they was getting ready to climb. When they got up at the top of the goddamn mountain after 3 days, when they got on the top of the mountain, guess what they found? They found them same damn things that the African women was grinding that milk. They found that shit on the top of the damn mountain. And you know, I know a nigga went to the Dogon tribe in 1990. He went over there in 1990. I said, what you see? He said, I saw a pair of stilts about 15 feet high doing about a damn 100. Running. Doing about a damn 100. Nigga was hauling ass on some stilts, 15 feet high. So in so many words, we had these type of chakra systems. 192 of them that we had in this particular time of Atlantis and Lemuria. We had these chakra systems. It's all in the books. Rudolf Steiner's Cosmic Memory. Rudolf Steiner's Universe, Earth, and Man. Those two books. Now it's interesting that Rudolf Steiner wrote that you used to get all of them in the early 90s. One book you couldn't get was a book called Atlantis and Lemuria by Rudolf Steiner. They wouldn't print that one, but you can go to on the internet and look up Kessinger's publishers. Kessinger's publishers. They publish out of print books, and you can buy that book for like $9. But every now and then, when you get like a nigga, you do some magical shit. Just watch that goddamn Soul Train line. Something as simple as that shit If you just watch it on side, you say, how in the hell did that nigga do that shit? When I told you I used to dance in the 70s, I used to dance and go around the state of South Carolina beating people's ass, and it's a whole strategy to beating people's ass. So I was scientific about it. And I used to do all the acrobatic stuff and flips and double flips and do all that shit to the music. But I had a friend named Vaughn who was a natural. This nigga had rhythms that he could break his goddamn back in. His whole spine could break in like that. And this nigga be doing some shit like this to the music. I said, I gotta team up with that motherfucker right there. So I teamed up with him, and we used to go and win all this damn money, because I used to do all them flips and shit, and that nigga could break in his goddamn back. That nigga could break in his damn back. You see what I'm saying? So I'm talking about, so that we even on the God level, on the haphazard level, do some genius shit. You know what I'm saying? Do some doggone genius shit. We grew up with all kind of niggas doing all kind of shit that you got stories on. You know what I'm saying? And it's the spirit realm. So that's also using above that aspect of the brain. But the problem here is, when these things shut down, we became dependent on the five senses. And his technology is based on giving luxury to those five senses. And that's why you travel.